Hello, good morning if you are listening from Brazil. Good afternoon if you are listening from Europe. It is exactly now 12 a.m. in Brazil and 4 p.m. Central European Time. Welcome to our fourth European Union Roundtable. It is a great pleasure to have you here. Thank you for all of us for staying tuned and watching us on YouTube. My name is Philippe Casapo. I am the president of ENRICH in Brazil. ENRICH in Brazil is an initiative supported by the European Union, which has the main purpose of strengthening, but also simplifying and bringing the best practices of making science, technology, innovation, and business happen between the European Union countries and Brazil. Today, for our fourth roundtable, we have the great pleasure and the honor of presenting you two more wonderful countries of the European Union. Today, we have the opportunity of listening and knowing good practices and experiences from Ireland and from Hungary. And therefore, we will have the opportunities of having, like we have before, two panels. We're going to start with a representative of the countries panel, where we will listen to Mr. Declan Harry, Deputy Head Mission at the Embassy of Ireland, who will explain us a little more on what are the perspectives and the possibilities of partnership between Ireland and Brazil. Then we'll have together with us Mrs. Susana Lazio, Commercial Consul at the General Consulate of Hungary in São Paulo. She will also explain us what are the good practices and the opportunities for the collaboration between Hungary and Brazil. And then in the second panel, we'll have our representative of the companies. We'll start with Mrs. Edita Galite, who is from a company, Irish company called Smurfit Kappa Brazil. She's the Experience Center Innovation Manager, and she will tell us and explain us what is the experience of a company, right? An Irish company here in Brazil. And finally, we'll listen to Mr. Bilateral, who is the Chief Scientific Officer at RCISD, which is a Hungarian organization specialized in research, development, and innovation. Finally, we'll have our question and answer session. So please feel free to put on your question on the YouTube channel. We'll have a wonderful Q&A session at the end. But without taking too much time now, I would like to welcome Mr. Declan Harry. Thank you so much, Declan, for being with us. Declan Harry is the Deputy Head Mission at the Embassy of Ireland and will now present us his perspective on the collaboration between Ireland and Brazil. Thank you so much, Declan, for being with us, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Felipe. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Okay, thank you so much, Felipe, and it's an honor to be here representing Ireland at this series of roundtables with ENRICH Brazil. And again, thank you for the opportunity. I've had the pleasure of following some of the other roundtable sessions, and it's been very interesting, and I'm happy to be able to present today on behalf of the Irish Embassy. So, in terms of where we are, the last year or two in terms of relations with Brazil, trade relations, Brazil would be our second largest trading partner in the kind of Latin America and the Caribbean region after Mexico. We would certainly not be Brazil's largest trading partner, but we definitely think there's a lot of potential in Brazil, and that's why we're constantly working to see what we can do with this vast and impressive country. In last year, in 2019, trade in goods with Ireland was over 500 million, of which 300 million or so were exports to Brazil from Ireland. Most kind of key products there for us were medicinal and pharmaceutical products. Ireland is a hub for a lot of large pharmaceutical companies, as well as IT companies and biomedical companies. And so medical, pharmaceutical, and ICT related, computer related exports are always going to be key for us. From Brazil, we imported over 200 million euros worth of mostly metal ores, and agricultural products, cereals, vegetables, and fruit. In terms of our trade relations with Brazil, trade in services actually far outweighs the trade in goods. For us in 2018, which is the most recent data that I could get, overall trade in services were close to 1.4 billion. Exports to Brazil were 1,172 million, and imports were 200 million. Key sectors for Ireland trading with Brazil are aviation leasing. Ireland is one of the main hubs in the world for aviation leasing and purchasing airplanes and leasing them back to airlines around the world. And we have some key business with Brazilian companies. And also, again, computers, IT, software, and services, they're key for us on the trade and services side. I just thought I'd mention as well about education. We have a very strong relationship with Brazil in terms of English language training. On a normal year, pre-COVID, we would have around 16,000 Brazilian students going to Ireland each year to study English, which is amazing. It's hard to walk down the main streets of Dublin or other major cities in Ireland without hearing some Portuguese, which I think is really great. We also do have a significant number of Brazilian students that come to Ireland to study postgraduate and to do research postgraduate type work. And that's a relationship that we value. Looking to the next maybe year to 2 years, or maybe even beyond that. Again, it's hard to see what impact COVID will have. An Irish agency that supports Irish business working overseas or expanding to international markets is Enterprise Ireland. And Enterprise Ireland did a survey, I think earlier this year, which showed among Irish companies, which showed that roughly 1/3 of companies have experienced growth through the pandemic, 1/3 have lost business, and 1/3 have more or less stayed the same. Clearly, there's a difference across different sectors. For us, pharmaceutical companies have been performing really well. Maybe that's not surprising given the pandemic. While travel-related companies have suffered, and again, that's not surprising given the year we've had. In terms of things that maybe we're keeping an eye on in the medium term, really to see how planned tax and economic reforms in Brazil go. I know there's been lots of discussions and some progress, but we'll be watching that closely in terms of how that will affect the ease of doing business with Brazil. Another key area would be the progress in ratifying the EU Mercosur trade agreement, which of course has the potential to increase vastly the trade between Brazil and the rest of the European Union. And of course, Ireland would hope to be part of that in terms of trade in both directions. So we see opportunities there. And finally, I highlight Brazil's application for OECD membership. Now, this is kind of, I guess, related back to the economic and tax reforms question. I think along with Brazil's application, they're reforming or attempting to reform a lot of areas of the business environment here, and I think that will definitely stimulate more investment and trade in the future. So that's something that we're going to definitely keep an eye on. In terms of sectors that we think are, that we see as attractive for Irish companies, definitely education services. We're hoping that post-pandemic, maybe when the vaccine arrives, we can get our English language market back up to speed. Teacher training was a strong area before the pandemic hit, where we had Brazilian teachers going to Ireland to do advanced training. Also postgraduate research. Engineering has good options there. Aerospace, agricultural machinery. Brazil obviously is a world leader in agricultural production, and we think Irish companies have some potential there to support that work. And of course, energy generation. Brazil has massive natural resources, and including sun and wind and waves, and I think there's going to be a potential there in the future. Also, digital technologies. As I spoke before, we have a lot of expertise in Ireland in computers and ICT. Emerging sectors, of course, are fintech and e-commerce, no more so than during the pandemic. And lastly, agribusiness. It's always an area that we're keen to do more on. Challenges. In terms of challenges in terms of working or bringing a company to Brazil. I guess these reflect a lot of challenges that have been raised by other EU member states. Things such as the Custo Brazil, you know, the complicated maybe tax system, the availability of talent, the slightly underdeveloped infrastructure in such a huge country, complicated regulations and procedures, bureaucratic delays. This year, more than ever, large currency fluctuations have made it difficult to plan for businesses. And one other point, which is my first point here around tax listing. Um, Brazil has listed Ireland as a more favorable tax country because our corporation tax rate is lower than Brazil's. And so because of that listing, it increases the cost for Irish business to enter into Brazil due to a withholding tax. So that's something that we're always keen to try and make progress on. I think for Irish companies, it does maybe create a disincentive to enter the market, but because it adds an extra cost compared to other countries. But that's something that we're focused on as well. In terms of supports available, I'm going to have two slides on this, which one is more focused on looking at opportunities for Irish companies wishing to come to Brazil, and also for Brazilian companies that wish to consider Ireland as a destination for their business. So in the first instance, for Irish companies wishing to do business in Brazil, this state agency called Enterprise Ireland has very strong business in supporting Irish companies to learn about the market, to get their foot on the ground, to also benefit from various financial supports to get up and running. In general, they support the development or growth of manufacturing and internationally traded services across the world in all sorts of global markets. You know, the core work of Enterprise Ireland would be to provide assistance around exporting, including the local market information in Brazil, facilitate relationship building, connections, introductions, and also to connect companies with research and development collaboration with research institutions in Brazil. Enterprise Ireland also operates a suite of financial supports, some of which are ongoing and some of which have been specifically introduced during COVID-19, acknowledging the difficulty that some businesses are having in operating during this environment. So certain financial supports would include business financial planning grant, including the basics of preparing a financial and business plan, sustaining enterprise fund. There's two strands there, one for bigger companies and one for smaller companies, really to prepare companies to accelerate their recovery as we hopefully leave COVID behind us over the next year or two. Other initiatives include the Lean Business Continuity Voucher, which is a training support to build resistance during crisis, such as now. Online retail scheme, which is to build the company's capacity to do more digital work, and also a COVID-19 product scheme, which are grants to stimulate research and development around COVID-19, maybe medicines, treatments, that kind of thing. We have a contact in Brazil. Our main Enterprise Ireland office is in Sao Paulo. That's Melissa Fettis, and I would encourage interested Irish companies to reach out for more information. In the other direction, we have always encouraged Brazilian companies to come to Ireland, and we're grateful and we're fortunate that we have a few important business companies operating there, particularly in the area of gamification, IT services, and we have an agency called the IDA Ireland, which also has a representative based in Sao Paulo. That's Renati Buzon. Interestingly, I think Renati has Hungarian heritage, so that's interesting given our co-presenters today. IDA is focused on foreign direct investment into Ireland, and it works with existing investors to scale and develop companies that wish to work in Ireland. The main areas they focus on: technology, as I mentioned, IT, life sciences, pharma, medical technology. As I said, Ireland is a hub for those key sectors, international financial services, and engineering. And again, IDA has an entire suite of supports that they can provide to Brazilian companies wishing to invest in Ireland. So please do get in touch with Hanati if that's something that Brazilians are interested in. In terms of working, Irish companies working in Brazil, again, these recommendations probably mirror a lot of other EU countries, what they've raised in these roundtables. Do, of course, as I said, reach out to state agencies that offer supports, such as Enterprise Ireland and IDA. Very important. We definitely encourage Irish companies to seek a local partner, a distributor or an agent for, particularly for products, which, has that local knowledge that is just invaluable, and also to connect in with supply chains and to manage bureaucracy. Working with Brazil, definitely patience is an asset. My understanding is, it's better to commit to the longer term. Don't expect quick wins, but build relations, invest for the long term, and the payoff, I think, will be there in the long term. Portuguese is very important. Not okay in the commercial sector, more English is spoken, but Portuguese definitely opens doors if possible. That's very important. And also, just in terms of the bureaucracy and the complicated tax system, definitely we encourage to get high quality professional tax advice. And I think that's it for me. I just say thank you, obrigado, goro amila mahagad. That's thank you in the 3 languages that I currently speak. And I'll pass you back to Felipe.
Thank you so much, Declan, for your presentation. Very precise presentation, a lot of very useful information. And thank you for introducing us to Enterprise Ireland and to IDA Ireland. I think these are very important actors for those who are listening to us right now, right? Who want to come to Brazil, maybe also try to develop their business in Ireland. So I would like now to give the floor to Mrs. Susanna Laszlo, who is the Commercial Consul of the General Consulate of Hungary in São Paulo. Thank you so much, Susanna, for joining us this morning. And please, the virtual floor is yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Zsuzsanna László, Foreign Trade Attaché at Consulate General of Hungary in São Paulo. I've occupied this position since 2012. So first of all, I would like to say thanks for inviting Hungary for this roundtable. And I'd like to say I'm very happy to be here and to share this interesting discussion today. So if you agree, I'm going to share my screen and start my presentation.
We can see your screen, Susanna, so
you
can start when you want.
Yeah. Thank you. So let me briefly summarize the most important facts and characteristics of trade relations between Hungary and Brazil, and give a quick overview about the impacts of COVID-19. First of all, some words about Hungarian trade representations worldwide, and more specifically in Latin America and Brazil. As you know, Hungary is a very open economy and very closely linked to the international supply chain and the European supply chain, of course. So the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade of Hungary has 130 foreign trade attachés working at 118 diplomatic missions in 80 countries of the world. So as you see on the map, in Latin America, we have representatives in 7 countries: Cuba, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Chile, Argentina, and Brazil. As for Brazil, we are focusing our activities on the capital city, Brasilia, and the biggest economic hub of South America, São Paulo. So what we do exactly? We help Hungarian companies interested in Brazilian market. We provide them business support, market intelligence. We organize events like business forums, trade missions, and we also provide information to Brazilian companies about Hungary as a business location. In this effort, some state-owned institutions help our work, which are the National Research, Development and Innovation Office, the Hungarian Export-Import Bank, EXIM, the Hungarian Investment Promotion Agency, and the Hungarian Export Promotion Agency. As for bilateral trade cooperation between Brazil and Hungary, I would like to say that Brazil is Hungary's second biggest trade partner in Latin America, after Mexico, and bilateral commercial exchanges reached about $400 million in the last 3 years. This year, comparing to the same period of 2019, commercial exchanges decreased by 12%, which I think is quite satisfactory result in these hard pandemic times. Some words about the profile of our bilateral trade. Hungary exports to Brazil mainly machinery, vehicles, and products of the chemical industry, and imports from Brazil also machinery, vehicles, parts, foodstuff, beverages, and leather and related articles. There are more than 50 Hungarian companies with local operation in Brazil. Some of them you may know, like, for example, the Hungarian design software company Graphisoft, or Organica Technologies that provides water management solutions, UMERS that designs equipments and systems for perimeter security, and Prezi, the well-known platform for dynamic presentations. There are also about 30 companies with Brazilian capital operating in Hungary, among them Brazil Foods and Fibria, for example. Hungary has become one of the top spots for international investment in the last years, as you can see on the slide. Among the major players, the major investors, you really see some of the giants of the world economy. Economic predictions for the coming years are also quite optimistic related to Hungary. So the GDP growth prognosis reaches 4.8% next year and 4.6% in 2022, which forecasts a V-shaped rebound after the COVID crisis. Hungary's credit rating stands at investment grade with stable or positive outlook, as reported by the major credit rating agencies. As for the future of bilateral trade, we have identified some favorable factors for this. So in 2019, we signed 4 important agreements with Brazil in the following sectors: space activities, water resource management, agricultural research, and national accreditation authorities. Besides that, we also expect growth of trade exchanges from the EU-Mercosur agreement, which will hopefully enter into force in the coming 1 or 2 years. and with this, eliminate part of the biggest challenges to trade for Hungarian companies, which are the following: CNPJ dependence, the big opacity of regulations. I speak about standards, and the Portuguese language is also a barrier. So many times large companies resist new foreign technologies and solutions. Tax system is very complicated. There are complicated rules about intellectual property, difficult procedures for local establishment, the custo Brazil, high local expenses, and this more personal and less technical style of doing business, which can be a difficulty for Hungarian companies. As for support and funding of Hungarian companies, the Hungarian Export and Import Bank, EXIM, has some regular mechanisms. It's basically a framework loan of $240 million a year for Hungarian companies with projects in Brazil. And we also have technical support from the Hungarian Export Promotion Agency. The EXIM Bank has created some counter-COVID modalities. There are loan programs for small and medium enterprises. Some recommendations for companies interested in Brazil. First of all, I think they should participate in international trade fairs, be focused on these fairs on brand visibility, networking, and contacts with research and development departments of the companies. For medium and long-term investment perspectives, so they are very, very important because the market is very volatile. And Hungarian companies interested in Brazil should involve local representatives and use the counter-pandemic special funding modalities of the EXIM Bank. Some promising sectors, we believe, they are drinking and wastewater management, medical technology, wind power plants, auto part industry, installations, and components for chemical, oil and gas industry, and private security systems. And I would like to conclude my presentation with a brand new success story, which happened exactly 1 week ago. So Hungary signed a contract with Embraer about acquisition of 2 KC-390 airplanes. And this contract includes pilot and technician training as well as other services, and is going to pave the way for potential Hungarian suppliers. So I think it is an unexpected business achievement in a very tough international economic context, what proves that it is possible to overtake on the curve when everyone is braking. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Susanna, for your presentation. Thank you. Really very interesting to see this wonderful success case with Embraer, which is one of the major innovative companies in Brazil. Nice to see this partnership with Hungary, and also very interesting to see the focus that you have bring on water management, agriculture, sustainability. This is also a very important thing we have to deal with right after COVID-19, all the sustainability, technology, innovation, focus activity. So thank you so much. So with Susanna, now we are closing our first panel, which is the country representative panel. And we are going to switch now to the second part of this roundtable, which is the companies, right? We are going to listen to two companies right now. First, we're going to start with Mrs. Edita Garlight, who is the Experience Center and Innovation Manager at Smurfit Kappa Brazil. Thank you so much, Edita, for being with us this morning. And the virtual floor is yours.
Thank you, Felipe. Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. I'm going to be sharing my screen.
We can see your screen.
Great, perfect. So once again, good afternoon, everyone. And it's a pleasure to be able to present Smurfit Kappa today. Smurfit Kappa is an originally Irish company. So we are one of the biggest paper-based packaging companies in the world, and we are the biggest paper-based packaging company in Europe, with employing more than 46,000 employees. 2,000 of them are here in Brazil. So we are spread to 3 continents, and we are currently in 35 countries, and we are also attending more than 65,000 customers all over the globe. So this is our global footprint. We are spread through the Europe and the Americas. In Europe, we are in 24 countries, and in the Americas, we are spread through North America and South American continents, and we have our facilities in 11 countries in the Americas. So we are a company that drives business success for our stakeholders. And how do we reach that? Is through our innovation. So we have different globally shared tools and methodologies that we are able to easily spread through our company because of the geographical reach. We are working closely with our people who are the key value of our company. The sustainability, we are helping our companies, our customers, and the companies to position themselves as a sustainable companies for the end consumers, for their end customers, and through our expertise. So we measure our progress in sustainability against 5 strategic areas. We have forestry, climate change, water, waste, and people. Here in Brazil, we are working with recycled paper. So we are not working, we don't have virgin paper facilities here in Brazil. We are only working with recycled paper in this country. So what is the relevance of Brazil for Smurfit Kappa as an Irish company, as an European company? So first of all, Brazil it's a huge production potential, being the 6th largest producer of cardboard worldwide. It's also the first biggest Latin American company, representing 53% of total market share in the cardboard industry. Brazil is a huge economical potential, being the 5th largest country in the world and also the highest GDP country in South America, representing 48% of in total. So for Smurfit Kappa, why Brazilian market and why the acquisition of the Brazilian market was important? It's because it was important to become Latin America's leader in cardboard, containerboard, and cardboard packaging, and the only Pan-American player in the continent. So we have our factories, as you can see here in the presentation on the left side. We have our factories in four locations here in Brazil. So one of them is in the south, which is Rio Grande do Sul. 2 of them are in the middle, which is in Minas Gerais, and we have one of them in Fortaleza, which is in the north of Brazil. So what are the challenges in Brazilian market? Well, we as a company see many challenges actually here in Brazil, as they were represented in previous presentation of Declan and Susanna as well. But we picked to talk about one of them. So the main challenge is the devaluation of cardboard here in Brazil. So Brazilian market devalues cardboard, and the packaging is seen as a commodity. So we are working in an extreme commodity market here in Brazil, competing also with the local companies. And Brazil has also the lowest average cardboard prices among the main countries worldwide, and it's way below the world's average prices. So how do we overcome those challenges? We do that through the differentiation, through innovation, sustainability, and the global shared know-how. So we have the globally shared tools and methodologies that drive innovation and help us also to position ourselves in this it's a very competitive market here in Brazil for paper-based companies. So it helps us to position ourselves through the innovation, and our global know-how helps us also to be able to compete in this huge competitive market here in Brazil. We are also counting with sustainability as one of our main differentiations as well here, also in other countries in the world. And we recently launched one of our initiatives, which is called Better Planet Packaging, where we are educating and inspiring the stakeholders to think differently about which kind of materials to use, how to dispose those materials, how to make right purchases, how to choose the right materials. We work with research, development, and design, improving the functionality of our papers and the functionality of our solutions, creating sustainable packaging solutions. And at least we have also the implementation and support for our customers, where we are creating sustainable go-to-market solutions with an easy implementation and fast and easier way how they can reach their end consumers with more sustainable packaging solutions. So sustainability is at the heart of our business, and as one of world's most sustainable companies, I would say, we are continually striving to minimize the environmental impact together with our customers and together with our people who are working with us. So we are trying to create the solutions that would be sustainable for us, for our customers, and for the better world and the better planet. So that's it from my side. I would like to thank you for this opportunity to be here.
Thank you so much, Edita. Congratulations for the global success of your company. That's really wonderful to see. And congratulations also for the wonderful focus that you are putting on sustainability and innovation as a way of being different, right? Differentiating yourself from the rest of the companies. That's really nice to see. And this is something we do strongly believe in also at ENRICH in Brazil, the importance of innovation for sustainability. So congrats once again. And I would like now to finally give the floor to our last speaker for this morning. So Mr. Bela Cardon, who is the Chief Scientific Officer at RCISD, which is a leading Hungarian innovation organization. Thank you so much, Bela, for joining us this morning in Brazil, this afternoon in Europe, and the virtual floor is yours.
Good afternoon. I think after 12 o'clock, I can say good afternoon also in Brazil. Now I will share my screen with you, my presentation. Yes, just let's go to the presentation mode.
We can see your presentation.
Yes, I will speak about the possibilities how to enhance the regional innovation in research and innovation between Brazil and Hungary, and how we see this in RCISD and what possibilities we have in cooperation. Very shortly about Hungary, because my colleague from Sao Paulo already introduced our country. Our country is a bit smaller than Brazil, as you can see. The size is rather closer to Ireland. The population is less than 10 million. The estimated GDP is for this year around $316 billion. It will be unfortunately slightly lower than last year because of the COVID crisis. In the Global Innovation Index, we have the rank of 35. Hungary is spending 1.5% of the GDP on research and innovation. If I compare us to the Irish colleague, maybe the size of the country in comparison to Brazil is quite close, but our company is completely different. We're a small enterprise. So our company is less than 10 years old, and we have roughly a dozen of people working for us, and of course a lot of external experts, but we are a really small company funded by scientists and R&D managers. and we have different services we offer for our clients. The most important activities are the maybe twofold with two additional ones. We are participating in international projects as one of the one partner in the consortium. This is a very important activity in our company. And the second is we are giving to our partners, mainly Hungarian enterprises and higher education research institutes, advice and support in proposal writing and project financial management and project management. We have some own research and innovation activity and some our own education and training activity. This is our Ars Poetica. Let me speak about it only in a few words. Politicians, people, policymakers always speak about competitive economy, and everybody knows that competitive economy needs competitive enterprises, and of course there's a demand on competitive labor force. But not always is the next step done. The question we shall raise, where's competitive labor force coming from? And in a world where the major part of GDP is produced by services, I think competitive labor force is coming, a very high part of competitive labor force is coming from competitive higher education, and only very few make the step, if we think a bit further, that there is no competitive higher education without competitive research and innovation. We can make maybe a sixth step if I say that research and innovation is always competitive if it's international. This is why the cooperation with partners like Brazil is extremely important. Our references in international cooperation, we have more than 100 partners in more than 40 countries. In the world. These are not partners I ever received a business card from. These are partners with whom our company worked in projects on the base of consortia agreements. This means a real partnership from the Philippines to Brazil, from the USA to Kazakhstan. We are quite successful in the European Research and Innovation Cooperation. We had 9 participations in the 7th framework program, and there are winners of 14 proposals in Horizon 2020. If you look how our position in Hungary, then you can see that the biggest Hungarian partner is the Technical University with 60 proposals. In this graph, you can see our organization, our company, only with 11, because 3 projects will start only later in January. 1 in this month, or 2 in January. But if we compare us with the largest Hungarian university, is the most successful Hungarian university, I can say that I think we are really successful with these 14 participations if we want to compare it with the big ones who have, let's say, maybe 60. Okay, just I don't want to introduce the whole Hungarian innovation landscape to you. Just one word where we are. We are in the center of the country, in the capital. Why is this important? This is important because half of the research and innovation expenditure is coming from the central Hungarian region, and 60% of the researchers are living in Budapest and in the agglomeration. This is why it is very important to be in the center when you want to be active in research and innovation. We work a lot with SMEs because SMEs are very important for the economy. They are the substantial elements for future development, and we try to help the next generation of flexible and fast-acting actors, which is really demanded everywhere in the world. I will come back to this statement, everywhere in the world. It means also in Brazil. However, the problem is in Hungary that the smaller the enterprises, the lower their innovativeness is. Although 75% of the employees are working in SMEs, but only 1/3 of the GDP is produced by them. And if we look on the employees of the SMEs, then we can see that 60% of the researchers are working in big companies, on the 8% working in small companies. So this means the smaller a partner is, the more assistance they need. what assistance can we give them? We are acting as a kind of private innovative agency with our information services we deliver, with the counseling services, with trainings, with project and proposal management. We help a lot to the smallest partners to be innovative and to come to this international research and innovation market. There's a lot of support services we give to SMEs to help them. We try to play a proactive role, and especially we try to act as an intermediary. To be an interface, a facilitator, a mediator, a broker, a contact point to SMEs. Based on our communication capacity, we can connect these SMEs to international partners. We help our partners in market uptake support through analysis of different marketing materials. We are preparing training material. We are delivering advice and support. And of course, we are testing and monitoring these training content continuously. We deliver trainings and education also to the real professionals, advice and support to selected stakeholders, we try to identify innovative schemes and disseminate these innovative schemes. If I want to summarize our activities and our expertise, in the left you can see the thematic fields starting from biological networks to energy and environment, and on the right side are the horizontal fields, the cross-cutting fields like analysis and mapping, or awareness raising and dissemination. The question is, why Brazil? If we look on the thematic fields, and if we look on the strengths of Brazil, we can see that one of the strengths of Brazil is biodiversity. And we have here a lot of partners in Hungary who are interested in cooperation with Brazilian partners in research and innovations targeting biodiversity. If we look again on our thematic expertise, and other was energy and environment. One of Brazil's strengths is renewable energy. I know there's a high demand on the development of this renewable energy, and also in the development of energy efficiency. Here again, we have a lot of partners in Hungary, a lot of experience how to act internationally in the field of renewable energy and energy efficiency. Coming to the smallest companies, I think we could have a very good potential to work together with Brazilians, because 20% of the population is involved in early stage entrepreneurship, according to the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor. And I think I see in Brazil here a lot of potential partners for our company. If I go further, I can see that 50% of the early stage entrepreneurs are under 34. They are very young. I think very young means they are very innovative, smart, innovative, and flexible. This is where we have again an entry point to potential Brazilian partners. And as in our webinar today, there's a very good gender equality in Brazil. Roughly 50% men and 50% women are these enterprises. Before ending my presentation, just adding two more ideas. RCISD, our company, is founding member of the ENRICH in Brazil Association, and we deliver also to potential Brazilian partners possibilities to act not only in Hungary but in Eastern Europe. If there's a demand, we can offer a kind of hot desk at our company of non-profit base. This means that somebody can send a company can send a trainee to us and work with us together and learn how to work in an environment in the European Union, in the eastern part of Europe. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Bela. Thank you. Congratulations for your wonderful presentation. And congratulations also to RCISD for this global success also. You mentioned that 108 partners in the world is really a lot of work. So really congratulations for what you've been performing during all this time. So
okay. Thank you.
We are going now to our last session, which will be our question and answer panel. So please would like to ask to all our speakers today to switch on their cameras and their microphones so that we can have a chat together and explore more of some of the points that you have presented to us. So we have received some questions. We have plenty of things we want to know more about. And I think that one first common point that really was very clear in all your presentation is the importance of, I would say, science-oriented or science-focused education and labor force. It has been shown by all your presentation. So my question to all of you will be the following. What do you see in terms of opportunities of collaboration between Brazil and Europe, between Hungary, Ireland, and Brazil in terms of education and in terms of developing new researchers? So what is your perspective of that? What is your experience and where do you see opportunities? Who wants to start?
Okay, I would like to start. Hungary has a scholarship called Stipendium Hungaricum, of course, and every year we provide 250 scholarships for education for Brazilian students in higher education in Hungary. And so in the last years, there have been lots of Brazilian students using this scholarship, and I think they are really ambassadors in Brazil, so ambassadors of Hungary, and some of them reached very important results in high education concourses, like at the Technical University of Budapest. So I see the future optimistically.
So that's a wonderful experience and a tool that we have to accelerate these exchanges between Brazil and Hungary. Declan, you mentioned that in Dublin, you hear very often Brazilian speaking Brazilian Portuguese too. So what do you see in terms of exchanges of researchers and students for fostering innovation between the two countries?
Yeah, no, as I mentioned, we're very fortunate to have a very strong English language market, you know, of bringing Brazilians to Ireland, and it is great to see that cultural exchange, because we find that a lot of the people who come to learn English end up then staying to study in universities and to further advance their academic career. So it's also a kind of a gateway for some of these people. We've been working hard for the last number of years to develop that relationship between Brazil and Ireland in terms of research and education. As I mentioned in my presentation, we've had you know, programs where Brazilian teachers go to Ireland to you know, perfect their skills, improve their ability to teach Brazilian students, and that's been a very valuable program, and it's developed some great links. We have a number of mobility schemes that are supported by the Irish government. There's the Government of Ireland academic scholarships, there's mobility programs through the Government of Ireland, and really that's to stimulate you know, Brazilians coming to Ireland to work in and to study in our scientific institutions and universities. Another thing I mentioned was the fact that Ireland is a hub in a number of different sectors, and what we find in Ireland, we have different parts of the country are more of a hub for different sectors. For example, my own home city of Galway has a very strong biomedical kind of a hub. A lot of the international biomedical companies are based there, and they partner heavily with the university based in Galway. Similarly, in different parts of the country, we have more focused on pharmaceutical research or ICT type services. And so, you know, we've been working with Brazilian agencies over the years, such as CNAPK, such as CAPES, such as the FAPES in each state, FAPESB, on different programs and kind of calls to encourage that transfer of knowledge and to encourage not just Brazilians to come to Ireland, but to have Irish come to Brazil and really to exchange knowledge, exchange information. and develop collaborative projects in those areas. So yeah, the other thing as well, individual universities in Ireland have very strong partnerships with Brazilian institutions, and so a lot of things happen there that maybe don't come to the embassy's attention, but really strong partnerships have developed amongst academics and researchers in both countries at the institutional level, which we're always keen to promote and encourage. Thank you.
Thank you, Declan. So if you are a researcher, you're a student, you're listening to us right now, get in touch with us. I think we have plenty of opportunity for this exchange. And I would like to ask a similar question, maybe a little different to the companies. How hard or how easy is it to find for you now international human resources for your strategic growth globally? Edita, Bella, please tell us a little more about this labor force, international global labor force that you need for being such wonderful, great international companies.
Yeah, Felipe, if I may start. So from our company's perspective, talking about here in Brazil, so we do have international let's say recruiting of people as well, also inside the company and outside the company. So most of our people here are expatriated from other South American countries. I have to say we have Colombians, Venezuelan people, Argentinian people. So we do have those shared knowledge from other countries through South America. From Europe, well, I'm a personal case in this case. I was expatriated here from the Netherlands, and we also have the sharing knowledge through the programs as well. Actually, we do collaborate differently than Susanna and Declan were presenting, but we do have, for example, the global graduate programs where our young professionals are able to be in touch with other countries where Smurfit Kappa is in like 35 countries. We're in 35 countries, so they have great opportunities to meet another colleagues, to meet another people, to see the company from a more strategic point of view as well, meeting also the directors, from other countries. And we have also for the leaders, for the managers, we have the open leadership programs where we are also closely collaborating with other countries from human resources, seeing what they were implementing in their own countries, and also collaborating and exchanging this knowledge through the countries. So that would be from Smurfit Kappa point of view.
Okay, last but not least.
Thank you, Edita. So yeah, Bella, what's your experience on that? Yeah, please.
Yes, the situation of a small company is completely different. So we have to be international, but we are situated in Hungary, so our employees are all Hungarians. Although I have to say, when we recruit people, it is open, I would say, to the world. People I need have to speak at least English. It is a must, but if possible, another foreign language too. Another foreign language to help us acting internationally. But what we are doing, we are connecting the partners. I mentioned in my presentation the important link between education and research. I think countries like ours, like Brazil or Ireland or Hungary, we are quite innovative. We have good results, but there's still space for development. If I look on South Korea or Japan, if I look on Germany or Finland or on the United States, there's still space for development, and we can do it together if we connect researchers, if we connect students, and if we connect enterprises. And I think this is where we can have an essential role to connect researchers from Brazil and Hungary, from Brazil and Europe, to connect students from the two regions, and connect the enterprises. And this will definitely help us to develop, to further develop our enterprises and our countries.
Thank you, Bella. So that's a great win-win situation, where I would say win-win-win situation, where the people win because they grow, they have the opportunity of studying, going abroad, having an international perspective on culture, which is wonderful. And the two countries will grow together, right? Or the three countries, right? Ireland, Hungary, and Brazil. So that's really interesting what you were telling us now. And congratulations again, Edita, for explaining us the wonderful, great opportunities that leaders and talents have at Smurfit Kappa. I have one last question because unfortunately we are getting close to the end of our roundtable today. So another point that has been mentioned by all your presentation, which is quite important for us also at ENRICH in Brazil, and this is directly linked to the Horizon 2020 and then the Horizon to Europe framework, is biodiversity and bioeconomy. So I would like to hear your perspectives on the collaboration between Brazil and Ireland and Hungary for biodiversity, bioeconomy, and renewable energies. What can we do together to foster a more sustainable future? Who wants to start?
Maybe I can start this time. And
Yeah,
since
please, Bela.
previously, as I mentioned, the cooperation in research in innovation is essential. I always tell this example about sharing ideas, and it's in research in innovation is different. Let's say you need the story about the apple and the pear. If you have an apple and I have a pear, you can give me the apple and I can give you a pear, and this is a kind of trade, but we are still one apple and one pear. We can share them, and we have each of us have half an apple and half a pear. Still, we have one apple and one pear. This is friendship. But in research cooperation, if we share ideas, I share my idea with you, and you share your idea with me, we will both have two ideas, and especially in biodiversity, in renewable energy, in sustainability. We have some good results, some good researchers in Hungary, and of course we have potential to develop. And you have some good ideas, some good researchers, some innovators, good companies in Brazil, but still you have space to develop. And if we share the ideas, if we share the competences, if we cooperate in this field, we will surely be able to step further, especially in these very important fields.
Thank you. Edita, you have presented us sustainability as a core strategic aspect of your company. So tell us what kind of collaboration with Brazil can be developed in order to raise up this capability of sustainability and the strategic differentiation for your company.
Yeah. Yes, Felipe, indeed, it's sustainability is our core value in Smurfit Kappa. We are also being a paper-based packaging company. We are working extremely closely with everyone and everybody who is able to create sustainable solutions. And here, for your question, I would like to stress one particular possibility, maybe, that we are also launching global challenges, where we are inviting our designers, but also designers from everywhere in the world to create sustainable solutions. So we are collaborating with people all over the globe and selecting the more sustainable solutions in order to be able to implement more sustainable materials in the market. So we are proactively working on creating more sustainable solutions for the market, like changing some particular unsustainable materials to a more sustainable solution. So this collaboration is done not only between Smurfit Kappa people. Actually, we are launching those strategies also for people outside Smurfit Kappa, because we believe that there are so many great innovators in the world, not only in the company, but also all over the world. They don't necessarily need to be designers. They can be working in a completely different field, but have this passion for sustainability and have this passion for innovation. We were in Brazil recently working also with a university, where we were encouraging students to create sustainable solutions for the market, for Brazilian market. It was a huge success, which we are going to be also able to share in a few weeks. And it was also a know-how share between Smurfit Kappa and between the young professionals, young people who have so many ideas and who are so talented to create and implement those ideas, and to be able to participate. It's really a great opportunity for a young person to be able to participate in the collaboration with a global company. So this is how we are working with the sustainability, and this is how we are trying to encourage everyone to think about sustainability and to make more sustainable choices.
Thank you. So if you are an innovative talent and you are listening to us right now, Smurfit Kappa has Open Innovation Challenge for you, right? That's great. Thank you. Susanna, Declan, what would you say about this opportunity of collaboration with Brazil for sustainability, bioeconomy, biodiversity?
No, I think there's as Bella and Adita have said, it's an area of huge potential. Given the importance of sustainable issues in Brazil, I think there were already some Irish companies working in that space and working in Brazil, and I think there's more we can do to connect some of the innovative work that's happening in Ireland in this area to work with Brazil. But equally, I'm aware of some excellent research centers in Brazil that are working on these areas around renewable energy, around biodiversity. An area of personal interest of mine is around on the bioeconomy side is to connect agencies or bodies in Brazil like Embrapa, the research agency for the agricultural sector, with the similar body in Ireland, which is known as Teagasc. And I think there's great potential there as we go forward. The other level which I'd like to raise as well is I think at the EU level, I think there's huge potential. Ireland, I think like Hungary, works really hand in hand with the EU as a whole to bring, to get more influence, more engagement with a country the size of Brazil. And I think there has been a lot of discussions building over time about how we can deepen the EU's engagement with Brazil on these specific issues. And I think that's where each of our small countries can really carry this agenda forward as part of the EU as well, where we have that extra impact. So I think that's a good opportunity.
Thank you. I think we have an action plan here of bringing together Embrapa and the equivalent in Ireland. I think this is a good idea. If it has not been done already, maybe we can do that together. So thank you for sharing that with us, Declan. Susanna, what would you say for this last question and your contribution for this?
Okay, as I mentioned before, Hungary signed some MOUs last year, 2019, and two of the sectors are really important in this question, I think, water resource management and agricultural research. So we are hoping to fill this MOUs with content in the next years, and we also hope that Brazil and Hungary can cooperate in EU programs like it was Horizon 2020 before. In Brazil, there are some Hungarian professors in universities, mainly in USP, University of São Paulo, and they created a club of Hungarian professors, and they try to cooperate with Hungarian colleagues and other colleagues in the EU. In this project. So there's a near future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Susanna. Unfortunately, we are getting to the end of our fourth roundtable. So I will give you another floor one last time for your final message. And from my side, thank you so much for your time, for all that we have learned with you guys today. It was a wonderful moment. So please, the final floor is yours. So maybe Edita, what is your final word for our audience today?
Yes, Felipe and everyone, I would like to once again thank you for the opportunity to participate and to encourage as well to share the knowledge, to share the presentations in these the future roundtables, and it was a great opportunity to be here. It was a nice opportunity to participate, and thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you, Edita. Susanna, your final words.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation, and I think it's very important to know each other, to know each other's countries and higher education. So I encourage Brazilian students to participate at the Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship program. Thank you.
Thank you, Susanna, for being with us today. Bella, your conclusion words.
Thank you very much for the possibility of presenting our company. I hope that through our project, the ENRICH in Brazil, what is now running out, but the next project, ENRICH in Latin America, we will have the possibility to enhance the cooperation between Europe and Brazil. I hope that our association, ENRICH in Brazil, will have a major role in this, and I'm sure that our company will be able to contribute for mutual benefit to a great success of future cooperation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bela, for joining us this morning. Declan, your conclusion words.
Yes, again, thank you so much for the opportunity. I think it's conversations like this that are very rich, to use the ENRICH expression. And I think it's really something that we can build on. You know, it's great for even smaller countries like Ireland and Hungary to have this kind of a platform, and I think it's something we can do more of in the future. Obviously, in terms of promoting greater, trade relations between Ireland and Brazil, I would encourage you to again reach out to the embassy or to the other agencies that I mentioned, Enterprise Ireland or IDA Ireland, and we'd be happy to have a conversation about possibilities. And again, thank you so much for the opportunity, and I look forward to the next session of Roundtables. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you to all of you guys. Thank you to all our audience. Stay tuned to ENRICH in Brazil. In December, we'll have one last for this year roundtable between the countries. Thank you for your time. See you very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.